You may be very used to hearing people talk about worms on the pasture, living on the grass waiting to be picked up. And this is the case with grazing species like sheep and cattle and goats and alpaca, absolutely. But in pigs, because they're not really grazing animals as such, they will eat the grass, but it's not their main food source. Those sneaky little worms have found other ways to get inside the pigs. So we have worms with very, very sticky eggs that stick to the environment, to the inside of their houses, to their skin. We have worms that can climb straight through the skin, so that's a whole other ballgame. The good news is the pigs do tend to build relatively good immunity against the worms as they get older, so it's still our young growing pigs that are the highest risk. But if you have breeding sows, you still need to be a bit strategic. So let's look at the common worms we think of in pigs. Firstly, whipworm. It's called whipworm because under a microscope it has a really long, thin head end which makes it look like a whip for a tail. It's actually its head, but it looks like a whip. Whipworms live in the intestines, so they cause a classic diarrhea, weight loss kind of situation, usually in our young growers under 6 months old. In our outdoor pigs, however, if you've got really high worm burdens, which a lot of people do, we can on occasion see adults with disease as well. The eggs survive for 2 years in the environment, so they are not going to be realistic to eradicate. In the outdoors, it's a non-starter really. We also get one called the liver worm. During the liverworm's life cycle, it migrates through the liver of the pig, causing what we call milk spots in the liver, which are exactly what they sound like, little white spots. And that's because they're damaging the liver as they move through it. So this guy, the liverworm, climbs all around the body before ending up where he wants to be. That includes the liver and the lungs, which means when we see disease with the liverworm, we're looking at coughing from lung damage or signs of liver failure, poor growth, sickly animals, and even just sudden death sometimes. Again, usually in our growing pigs under 6 months old. These eggs last for 10 years in the environment, would you believe? So these guys are not mucking around. They intend to be there forever. They are sticky, they'll stick. They stick to the inside of the farrowing houses and the pens, so you do need to get in and scrub with a disinfectant to remove them. And then our third worm is the red stomach worm, and this one lives in the stomach, hence the name, and it causes ulcers and bleeding from the stomach. So it makes them feel really sick, really sore. They become anemic from blood loss. They lose weight. The special note with this one is that pigs really don't develop very good immunity against this guy as they get older. So we can get skinny, suffering adults as well, especially if they're already stressed for another reason like pregnancy and farrowing. So the liverworm, we've got the red stomach worm and that whipworm. So with those 3 worms in mind, when do we drench?